Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel, my s10 shopping garage. It's been a little bit since I did a video, and I did the one, excuse me, on the transmission axle leak. Well, so far that's fixed. And hope you like my videos. Hope they're informational, educational, help you out, cutting all your time in half of what I do to gather all this up for you to do this if you decide to do it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you do. Please do so. It's most appreciated. Now today we're going to put the rack and pinion we got all this started back into my 08 G6. There's other years that this pertains to. See, mine's 08s, I think it's 07 to 09, 010, but check your application to make sure. So let me take this video down my phone and show you what's going on. Okay, there's the plastic bag the reman rack and pinion come in. There's the reman that's going in it. And there on the floor here is the OEM new piece. But here's something else I want to show you. This is the one part that gave me the problem on the driver's side. It would not come out. Still hasn't come out. I haven't tried it since I did the other video, or this past video. And that information. And now, get this out of the way. Here is what the OEM rear transmission mount to the frame looks like. I made up my own, and I modified part of this because I cut it basically in half. So there you are on this. Most people would just buy this and have the garage put it on, or just buy it and swap it out and be done with it. I like to do a step further, hoping it works. I'm the experiment part of this. All that's done. Now, here's the OEM mount. It's not busted or anything, but as you can tell, I modified it. And this here part is the Wonder Bar carbon steel. And of the extra welding I put on it, give it a little bit more support, which I'm not putting back on. I hope I don't have to put back on. And to give you an idea on this, that's the piece I cut off. There's a reason why. Use a little bit of imagination, and that's how it goes. Now, on the videos I've watched, there's a bolt you have to take out of the back, which is the back transmission mount to the frame. The bolt, which is, I don't have it with me, but it's a long bolt, goes through there to on the front part of the core support, which if I don't forget, I will show you on mine. Okay, now, other than that mount, I said probably the back one. Okay, this goes to the back mount. I'm sorry, I got it backwards. This is the back mount transmission to frame. This one is the front mount. I apologize for that mix-up. Got ahead of myself. It happens. Another long bolt here to here. Now, here's what I'm going to do. Just give me a second. Okay. Now, it took me forever to get the angle on this set right. I mean, umpteen times. So, here's what you do if you have the equipment to do it with. Or I'm just going to give you the super shortcut. Take your solder, if you get into it, if you decide to do it this way, and bolt this piece to the trans. This goes into the front part of the frame at the radiator. And here's how I did it. And it was tedious. Roughly like that. And get as close as you can. Tack it, low heat, a little bit of wire, and back and forth till you know you've got it right. But this is at a 35-degree angle if I'm not mistaken. So give me here just a second. I'm going to do this at a mock-up. Here's how you do it. And that will give you your angle. So hold on just a second. I'm going to try this for you. Try not to pause this no more than I have to. That was a good shot out the window and my hand. Now there I go disappearing. Okay. This is how it works. Provided you can read this, probably backwards. As 90 degree or straight up as you can get with this, the longer end. And I'm going to try to do it this way. And she's straight, or roughly straight, and about 25 degrees is what I could see. 20 degrees. Me doing it this way. So what do we have? Well, now it's down at, well, let's go for 20 degrees. You can work with it from there. Okay. Now then, back off to this and get back over here to the workbench. Whoops, goes the hand doing it again. All right, now, with that information, this is bolted to the transmission. This bolts to the frame. And now, let's see. This bolts to the back part of the transmission, and this goes to the frame mount part of it. I did the washer piece, tacked it on, so I know it's going to be easier to put the bolt in. A little off center, but it's got a little bit of play. Okay, now then. For this, the bar stock, at a flea market, I bought a serpentine belt wrench tool, carbon steel, and here's how I did. This took some time. And I set it up. And a half inch galvanized to there, to here, the washer, and you've got it. Now, we're getting ready to go outside and get this back together, get my car back on the road. She's been down quite some time. Yeah, I almost forgot altogether about the OEM unit. Okay. So, let me get this undone. We'll get a little bit closer look at it. Okay, around. Okay, here we go. Now then, I'm hoping to go to get the rebuild it because I've already put the new seal in here, and that's one tight press fit. But with this setup here, come to find out, my power steering leak, as you can see, that's where it's leaking. And to get to that seal back in there is apparently a major operation. Now, what I've looked up and gathered up my information on my research, these units are a non-serviceable unit by us basic guys. I'm going to see if I can actually do it. It may take a good long while, but I'm going to try it. I bought the kit for it, give or take 50 bucks at the auto store. This tube here, I'm moving around, is a bent air tube. Well, darn. It goes from one boot, as you can see, to this elbow, to this boot, and equalizes the air pressure back and forth. And here's your power steering or hydraulic lines. Not hydraulic fluid, power steering fluid. And that's where the power steering pump line's bolt to it. And you got to figure out a little bit on where this goes for the steering intermediate shaft or the hood and the engine compartment, or motor compartment as I call it. But it won't take much. And looks both sides are the same. Yeah, I nicked it a little bit, but I followed all that down, and I don't think that'll leak, at least I hope not, if I get into it to where I can get it apart. And this bend to that bend, what makes it so difficult is with this back transmission mount to frame. This here is, both of these bends are the culprit that hits this right here. I'll watch the videos on this. Take the bolt out, take the bolt out, take the bolt out. There's no bolt here to take out except this one and these two. Unless you, and this one, you're going to take this whole thing off. It's going to be a bear to do. So, that's the reason why I did it the way I'm doing it now. In case I do need it, I've got it. I only have 2 bolts holding it on versus the 3 bolt right here. 4 total, but I'm going to do 3. And this is the mount that I made for it, which I've already had it on, and it fits good. But right here is where these two catch. Has to come off to get this out. Well, it took so long. I had to figure out my own procedure to do this. These YouTube videos saying take the bolt out. Well, I took this bolt out. Look good that did. I just left this loose from the frame mount. These 3 bolts take it loose from the transmission, but then you got to wiggle it out, which is not all the worst, but I just don't like this idea at all. In my opinion, bad design, because you just cannot just slide this in and out with this here. So, here's how that goes. You see what a difference. It gives you all kinds of clearance. We'll get ready to put it on. So let's get to it. Okay, we're 13 minutes into this. Of course, excuse the background noise. Traffic. All the rest of this back together I took, whoops, all of this off, strut out, this some of the brake part of it without having to lose any fluid, and off to the side to give me more room to work. And right back in here, that piece right there is the frame mount. It's aluminum. Be careful. And you need to put in from the driver's side. That way it hooks up and gets to the steering knuckle. That's our steering lines. Where is that at? Right there. There's the steering knuckle for the intermediate shaft. We can play around with that later. So in from the driver's side. So let's do it. And by the way, the reman units, anywhere from 250 up. Just be careful what you're getting. And that's on eBay. That's where this comes from. At the stores, remans are 3, new ones 6, give or take. So let's see how this works out. Okay. Right there where I'm pointing to, transmission bolt for the mount. There's the other one, to the third one here at the bottom, and the frame mount right here. 18 millimeter for the transmission bolts to the mount. Give you a second. Now then, excuse me. You see, I've got it in here, and the way you fabricate it, weld it up, it only goes onto it one way. And that washer I told you I tacked on, that's to shim it, because that aluminum bracket right here, or frame mount, tied it too tight, without the OEM one in, and you'll snap that. So take up your space. It's a wee snug. So it's technically, it's, gotta be a contortionist for this, or up on a rack. It's on there. Give me a second, I'll get the other two bolts in. But it's got to go in through the hinge bolt, as I call it, up there first. Okay. This part of the bracket, my index finger's pointing to at the milder steel. My thumb, that's the carbon steel. And of course, there's heavy water pipe. Might have to do a little bit of adjusting. I had to enlarge the holes for the bolts here just a little bit. Give me a little bit of working plat. I made it just a bit tight. So, see what I can do by getting this on now. Alright, so far I ain't pushed any of the wrong buttons. Yay. 2 trans bolts, frame bolt to the mount to the trans. Had to take the washer off. That gave me enough play up there to be able to do what I'm wanting to do. So it's either do it manually or figure out get your MIG or MIG out or a stick and tack it and then bring it back down out of there and go ahead and soft tack it up and you got it. I'm just going to go ahead and do it this way. A little bit of finesse and by hand and get it up in there and we've got it. Okay, we got her somewhat snugged up. A little loose as you can hear. That's what I want. I'm going to get ready to put as you're facing the front of the motor to the right side, and put that mount on, and then we'll snug her down. We'll get the rack and pinion in. And by the way, this is the bolt that goes to, as I said, facing the front of the motor to the right side, or right bank. The other one went to the transmission. But it doesn't have this flange on it. You can't mix them up. They're both the same size. And now, you can see it this way. We got quite a bit of play. Well, that's good. The thing about it is we don't have a spacer for this mount because the frame mount is welded steel plate. You can tighten it on down and be done with it. The aluminum one, you got to be careful. And if you can see it, where this bar is welded to the support bar of the transmission, you got to get to where your weld right here is not catching the cap bolt. I think I may have to modify that just a little bit, so give me a second. All going good so far. Didn't have to do any modifying, tweaking, what do you want to call it. Didn't have to do any of that. Let me finish this up. For the mounts, all the hardware bolts, 18 millimeter. And if I'm not mistaken, so is the rack and pinion. So let's take a quick look at that. That front mount is on, front transmission mount. Now the vibration on this, I don't know, but it's up to the individual. And it does not change the geometry of the motor or trans. That's where the front and rear transmission and motor mount comes into play. It holds the geometry. Yep, the rack and pinion hardware, 18 mil. Okay, bolt there for it. And yeah, you can see my feet move. And there. I got 2 new outer tie rod ends I'm going to put on. I'm going to just get the steering on. I'll probably finish it tomorrow. But what you do when you take the rack and pinion steering off, just reverse the process. Okay, let's snake this thing through here and get it pretty much anchored down. Let's see what we can do. I wish I could show you me doing this, but I can't. Okay. Well, I suppose I'm just too tired to get it in without taking this frame out off. It's in the back. Had to undo all that. This hardware here for the nuts, 15 mil. Probably 9/16 and standard. Took that out. Let's see if this thing just slides right on through. Because the videos I watched on YouTube about the bolt coming out, I got a hunch it's this bolt here. We'll take the transmission mount and the frame mount off and see how this goes. So let's give her a try. Okay. It's in, not anchored. but it's in. A little bit finesse this way and show it right on through. So let's get it anchored down. Okay, I've got the rack and pinion, well, loose but in there, the bolts in it. Now I'm trying to get the frame mount back in down in there. Let's go to the top, see what I can do. Okay, got that rear frame mount back on in. If you can see it, somewhat. There's the cross bolt. Get it to focus. And the 315 mils on it. And what the problem was, to fit in from the top or from the driver's side and leave your steering loose a little. Like, well, hold on. Like that. So you have a little bit of maneuverability. And that's where the rack and pinion bolts, anchor bolts. And there's the other one. It's blurred, of course. So we get ready to tighten these three down. Just tighten them down and get the mount back on it. And finish up for the day, and I'll get back to you, so sit tight. Okay, well, I'm finally back. I've been at this right at 2 hours on pause. It's held up. Okay, the rack and pinion is not fully, well, it's in, it's not totally anchored down. And it looks like we're gonna get some rain, as you can see. I got the lines somewhat bolted back up, and the rear mount, or the left lower mount, the transmission frame, is back on, tightened down. The right side one is now too. I'm going to finish touching this up through next week and get this done. As I've said, transmission don't have any leaks yet. Probably not. Yeah, I'm whooped. I've been at this we'll be all together now 3 hours. So you know what you're going to be up against. The factory mount, the OEM one, it's going to be the same process of getting it in and getting it out. And with the rack and pinion, take the frame mount off, take the transmission mount off, and take them out from the top. You want to do the coil and the spark plug wires to be able to do that adequately. So mark your wires, do what you need to do. Coil pack wires, take that out off there. Watch out for the wiring and the O2 sensor upstream, and go ahead and take it out that way, or take it out from the bottom from the side and do what you need to do. Now, furthermore, I went with the mount, frame mount, through this way. There's different ways, different angles, ways to do it. Whichever you choose, it's easier for you. But none of them super easy. So leave that mount, trans mount out, frame mount out, and put the rack and pinion in, and you're pretty much good to go. But it is to finagle to get this in there. These videos I watch at 15-20 minutes doing this. Now, I don't even see the shop being able to do this in that quick a time. Up on a rack, air tools. I have air tools. I don't have a rack. So this is the way I have to do it when I do it. If I hadn't planned on doing a transmission, that's on my glasses, maybe. Okay, it's not shadow. Thought it was grease. Anyway, with the rack, and I had the air, I had the tools, I could zip all this off. I just generally don't. That's by my choice. And I will show you the finished product after I get this done. As of right now, to reiterate, transmission does not leak. I know it's a little low on fluid, but I don't think it's low enough that it don't leak. Because with the brakes and the system back together, mocked up and angled at the way that it is, and I'll show you. Give me a second. That angle she's been sitting at, I'm figuring 8-9 weeks. I had to do my research on what I dug into on that cup seal. That's what threw me off so bad so much. So other than that, that's about it. and keep the wrenches turning, easy on the knuckles, and I will see you on the flip side getting this finished up. The biggest part is done. And we're 25 minutes into this, and I do believe from start to finish, air tools, all that, you could cut that 3, maybe 4 hours. I don't know what the shop time frame is on this. I know it's not cheap, and the time I'm going to guesstimate at 4 hours, not counting the parts. So we can cut this in probably half if I'd done it with the air tools, but I chose not to. But going on 26 minutes, and you know what you're up against so far. Peace out, everyone, and stay safe. Have a blessed spring and summer, and I will catch you up again, okay? Have a great one. Hope this all helps you out, and if you haven't already, like, subscribe if you haven't already. Appreciate the views and the subscribers. Thanks, everyone. Bye.